Good morning, dear children. We are going to continue the chapter The Great Train Journey, which is written by Ruskin Bond. In the previous video, we studied about the Suraj, one boy Suraj, who was very fond of trains. And one day, as he was wandering near the track, he entered in the goods train and he discovered the carriage was filled with number of crates, and those crates were filled with apples, and he was enjoying a lot in that, but he wished that his friend would have been with him. As he was thinking all these, suddenly the train started moving. Now he was thinking how to stop the train or how to jump out of this train. Let us see what further happened with that boy. Today we will read on page number 49. We'll continue the chapter. "Greetings, friend," said a voice from behind, and Suraj spun round guiltily, his mouth full of apple. We know that Suraj was sitting near the door and he was eating apple. And that time somebody greeted him from behind, and Suraj spun round. Spun means turned, turning quickly. He quickly turned round guiltily. Guiltily means as committed an offense. In such a way, he turned back as he made some offense, he made some mistake. His mouth full of apple. A dirty, beard face was looking out at him from behind a pile of crates. From behind the pile of crates, one dirty beard face, the face which was very dirty and the face which was full of beard, was looking at him. The mouth was open wide, pan-stained grin. That person who called him from behind, his mouth was open wide and pan-stained grin. His grin means his smile was pan-stained because his mouth was so dirty with as he after eating pan. Namaste," said Suraj apprehensively. "Who are you?" Then apprehensively means very uneasily. Suraj said namaste to that man. Then he asked, "Who are you?" The man stepped out from behind the crates and confronted the boy. Then that man came out, he came in front of the boy. Confronted means came face to face. "I will have one of those too," he said, pointing to the apple. That man pointed to the apple and said that he also want to have one apple. Suraj gave the man an apple and stood his ground while the carriage rocked on the rails. Then Suraj took one apple and gave to the man, and he stood his ground while the carriage rocked on the rails. Rocked means moved gently on the rail. The carriage was moving on the rail, and we know that when train moves, there is a little vibration inside the train. It shivers a bit. The man took a step forward, lost his balance, and sat down on the floor. That man, as it was vibrating, it was shaking. Man could not stand straight. When he kept one step forward, he lost his balance and he sat down on the floor. "And where are you going, friend?" he asked. "Have you a ticket?" Then that man asked Suraj about his ticket and asked where he was going. "No," Suraj said. "Suraj, have you?" Then Suraj said, "No, I don't have ticket. Do you have ticket?" The man pulled at his beard and mused upon the question, but did not answer it. He just pulled his beard and then he mused, means he thought upon the question, but he did not answer anything. He took a bite from the apple and said, "No, I don't have a ticket, but I usually reserve this compartment for myself." The man said, "I don't have ticket, but very often I used to travel in this compartment. I have reserved this compartment for me. This is the first time I have had company." The man said, "Usually very often I used to travel in this, but for the first time I got company. Where are you going? Are you a hippie like me?" Hippie means a person with odd appearance, like long hair, untidy dress. Then man asked Suraj where he was going, and he asked whether he was also hippie like him. "I don't know," said Suraj. "Where does the train go?" Suraj said, "I don't know where I am going." And then he said, "Where does the train go?" He asked the man. The scrubby, ticketless traveler took concerned for a moment and said, "Where do you want to go?" Then that scrubby means inferior in size or quality, or very scruffy. And that ticketless traveler took concern for a moment and he just thought for a while and said, "Where do you want to go?" "I want to go everywhere," said Suraj. Now Suraj told him that everywhere he want to go. "I want to go to England and China and Africa and Greenland. I want to go all over the world." Suraj expressed his desire. He said that all over the world he want to travel. "Then you are on the right train," said the man. Man said, "You are exactly in the right train. This train goes everywhere." He said, "Everywhere in the world this train goes. First it will take you to the sea, and there you will go to get on a ship if you want to go to China." He said that first this train will take you to the sea, and from there you have to take a ship to go to China. "How do I get on a ship?" asked Suraj. Suraj said how he can get a ship. The man, who had been fumbling about in the folds and pockets of his shabby clothes, produced a packet of beedies and a box of matches and began smoking the aromatic leaf. The man, who had been fumbling means awkward, who had awkward look, dress, he just put his hands inside his pocket and took out the beedies. He took out beedi and matches, and then he started smoking. "Can you cook?" he asked. The man asked Suraj whether he can cook. "Yes," said Suraj untruthfully. He said untruthfully. He was not able to cook, but still he said yes. "Can you scrub a deck?" Deck means a floor on a ship. The man asked, "Can you scrub? Can you clean the deck?" Then he said, "Why not? Yes, I can." "Can you sail a ship?" Then Suraj said, "Yes, I can sail anything." "Then you will get to China," said the man. The man said, "If you are able to do all these, surely you will reach China." He leant back against a crate, stuck his dirty feet up on another crate, and puffed contentedly at his beedi. Then he just bent back and he kept his feet on the other crate and he continued his smoking. Suraj finished his apple, took another from the crate and dug his teeth into it. As one apple was finished, he took another one and started eating. He took aim with the core of the old apple and tried to hit a telegraph pole, but missed it by meters. The apple which he ate first he took the core of the old apple. Core means the central part of the apple. We know that the part in which we can see the seeds. We do not eat that part, that is the core of the apple. So he just took that apple and aimed at the telegraph poles, and but missed it by meters. It wasn't the same as throwing a cricket ball. Aiming the telegraph pole was not as throwing a cricket ball. Then, to make the apple more interesting, he began to take big bites to see if he could devour it in 3 mouthfuls. Now he wanted to enjoy eating apple. He wanted to enjoy that journey. So just to make apple and interesting, he thought that he will finish apple within 3 bites. But it took him 4 bites to finish the apple. So he started on another. Then the apple which he was trying to finish in 3 bites, he could not finish. He could finish in 4 bites. So he took another apple and he tried the same with it. Suraj had always wanted to be in a train that would take him to strange new places over hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. Suraj always wanted to have train journey, and today the train which took him to the strange new places. He wanted to travel through train and he wanted to go to the new places, and here was the train doing just that. Today his desire was fulfilling, and he wasn't quite sure if it was what he really wanted, and he was not able to believe himself whether whatever he imagined is fulfilling now. The train was coming to a station. The engine whistled, slowed down. The number of railway lines increased, crossed, spread out in different directions. Now, train was coming to the station. We know as train reaches to the station, it gives a whistle and its speed slow down. And we can see the number of railway lines, number of railway tracks crossed, spread out in different directions. Before the train could come to the stop, Suraj's companion came to the door and jumped to the ground. Before train stopped at the station, the companion, that man, he just came towards the door and he jumped to the ground. You would better keep out of sight if you don't want to be caught, he warned. The man warned to the Suraj. He said that if you don't want to be caught, you just be out of sight. And waving his hand, he disappeared into the jungle across the railway tracks. Then that man waved his hand, said goodbye to Suraj, and he just disappeared into the jungle. The train was at siding. We know siding is a place where the track allows train to pass each other. And Suraj could not see any signs of life. Any signs of life means he could not see any human being there. But he heard voices and the sound of carriage doors being opened and closed. At that halt, at that railway siding, he did not see anyone, but he could hear the sound of the doors being opened and closed. He suspected that the apples wouldn't stay in the compartment much longer. So he stuffed one into each pocket and climbed on to a wooden rack in a corner. Now, he suspected means he guessed that apples, the crates of apples will not be in the carriage for a long time. So He just took apples and filled his all the pockets with apples, and then he just climbed on the wooden rack in the corner of the carriage. Presently, men's voices were heard in the doorway. Now, men's voice could be heard in the doorway, means some laborers were there in the compartment. Two laborers stepped into the compartment and began moving the crates towards the door, where they were taken over by others. Two laborers got inside the carriage. They took the crates towards the door, and from the door other people were taking them out. Soon the compartment was empty. Dear children, I hope you understood this much, and the remaining chapter will continue in the next video. Thank you.